Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to explore something pretty amazing today? We're diving into the world of water.
Water.
Yeah. You sent in some material that starts off like a beautiful poem about water's connection to the universe, and then it just takes this wild turn into some really complex science.
Sounds like an interesting mix.
It is. So this poetic part you shared talks about water being like a conduit for universal energy. It's almost as if life is, dancing to the rhythm of the cosmos through water. There's even this beautiful imagery of ripples in the ocean kind of echoing the flow of energy through everything. Is there any real science behind that poetic vision?
More than you might think. It actually touches on some really fundamental concepts about water and how it interacts with energy. You see, water isn't just this passive substance, it's this dynamic network of molecules that are constantly in motion.
Okay, so we all know water is H2O, right? Two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. But what's so special about that structure?
Well, the magic is in those hydrogen bonds that form between the molecules. They're like tiny little hands that allow water molecules to cling to each other and form this constantly shifting web.
Oh, web.
Yeah, like a net almost. And because of this web, water can store and release energy in a really unique way. Think of it like a battery that's constantly being charged and discharged.
So is that why water is so good at regulating temperature? Like how our bodies can handle heat without, just spontaneously combusting?
You got it. Water's high heat capacity, that ability to absorb a lot of heat without a big temperature change, is absolutely crucial for life as we know it. But there's even more to it than just temperature regulation. That web of hydrogen bonds also makes water an incredible solvent.
A solvent.
Yeah, it can dissolve all sorts of things,
Right.
which is essential for all those complex biochemical reactions that are happening inside every single cell of your body.
It's like water is the ultimate facilitator, making sure everything runs smoothly. But the source material you sent hints that water might be doing even more. Something about it being a key player in information and energy transfer. That sounds pretty out there.
It does, doesn't it? And that's where we step from the poetic into the realm of really cutting-edge science, specifically the world of quantum mechanics.
Oh boy.
The idea here is that water, because of its unique properties, could be storing and transmitting information in ways that we're only just beginning to understand.
Quantum mechanics and water. I'm already feeling a little out of my depth here. Maybe you can throw me a life preserver.
Sure. Think of it this way. Imagine a synchronized swimming team, where every single movement is perfectly coordinated.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of like quantum coherence, where water molecules act as if they're all connected, even if they're spread out. And this interconnectedness, this coherence, might allow water to store and transmit complex information, almost like a biological hard drive.
So instead of ones and zeros, we've got vibrating water molecules carrying information. That's wild. Are there any scientists actually looking into this?
Oh, absolutely. There are researchers doing some truly groundbreaking work in this area. One of them is Emilio Del Giudice, an Italian physicist who studied these coherent domains in water.
Coherent domains.
Yep, those synchronized swimming teams. And he found that they can exist even at biological temperatures, which means our bodies could theoretically be using them.
Hold on. So my cells could be full of these tiny synchronized swimming teams of water molecules, and they're potentially carrying information. This is making me rethink everything I thought I knew about water.
That's the beauty of scientific exploration, isn't it? It challenges our assumptions and opens up whole new ways of understanding the world around us, and even within us.
Okay, so we've gone from poetic metaphors to synchronized swimming molecules. What other surprises does this deep dive have in store?
Well, there's another fascinating avenue of research that focuses on something called the fourth phase of water.
Fourth phase.
It challenges the classic solid, liquid, gas model that we all learned in school and might just revolutionize our understanding of how water works in biological systems.
Fourth phase of water. Now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more.
You know how we were just talking about those coherent domains, those little synchronized swimming teams of water molecules?
Yeah.
Well, this fourth phase of water kind of builds on that idea. It suggests that water isn't just H2O bouncing around randomly. It can actually form this distinct structure, almost like a gel.
A gel, like hair gel. I'm having trouble picturing that.
It's not quite the same, but the analogy kind of works. Imagine a thin layer of water clinging to a surface, like the inside of your cells. In this layer, the water molecules line up in this very specific, organized way, and it creates this gel-like structure that scientists call exclusion zone water, or EZ water for short.
Okay, so we've got regular water, and we've got this easy water. What makes them so different?
Well, for starters, easy water is negatively charged.
Negatively charged.
Yeah, and that negative charge means it can actually store energy, kind of like a tiny battery. This was a huge discovery by a researcher named Gerald Pollack. He's been a pioneer in studying this fourth phase of water.
Water acting like a battery. That's incredible. But how does that actually work inside our bodies?
Think about it this way. Every cell in your body is like a tiny city, bustling with activity. And just like any city, it needs a power source. Pollack's research suggests that these layers of easy water clinging to the membranes of our cells could be contributing to that power supply, helping to generate energy for all those cellular processes that keep us going.
So it's not just about water keeping things flowing, it's also about providing the energy for life itself.
Exactly. It's like water is playing a much more active role than we ever realized. And there's another layer to this whole story, which takes us from the microscopic level of cells to the way your entire body functions as a whole. Remember how we were talking about water's potential for communication?
Yeah, those synchronized swimmers passing information back and forth.
Right. Well, a biophysicist named Mei-Wan Ho kind of took that concept and applied it to the entire organism. She proposed that water, with its unique properties, could be creating this vast communication network throughout your body.
Wait, so you're saying my body is like one giant water-based internet? How does that even work?
Imagine a network of streams and rivers flowing throughout a landscape, connecting everything together.
Okay, yeah.
Ho's research suggests that water in our bodies might act in a similar way, creating this really dynamic, interconnected system where information can flow really rapidly and efficiently.
Okay, but how is water actually transmitting information? Is it like Morse code with those vibrating molecules?
It's a little more nuanced than that. Ho's research focused on the liquid crystalline properties of water.
Liquid crystals.
You know how those LCD screens on your phone or computer use liquid crystals to display images?
Yeah.
Well, she proposed that water in living organisms can also form these liquid crystals, creating a sort of matrix that can carry these complex patterns of information.
So it's less about individual molecules sending signals and more about the overall structure of water carrying information.
Exactly. It's like the difference between sending a text message and streaming a movie. Individual messages are fine for small bits of information, but for the complexity of a living organism, you need something much more sophisticated. And that's where this liquid crystalline network comes in. It's like the broadband connection that allows your entire body to communicate with itself.
That's mind-blowing. So my muscles, organs, everything is talking to each other through this water network. This is making me realize just how interconnected our bodies really are.
That's the beauty of this research, isn't it? It challenges us to kind of rethink our assumptions and see ourselves as these incredibly complex, integrated systems where water plays this really central role. And this has some really profound implications for how we understand health and disease, even our connection to the world around us. But we can dive into those implications in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm ready when you are. This is one of those deep dives that just keeps getting deeper and more fascinating the further we go. So, we're back. We've been exploring the incredible world of water, going from these poetic reflections to some seriously mind-blowing science.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has. We uncovered some incredible insights into how water works. At the microscopic level, like with cells and then, the entire body.
We did.
Coherent domains, easy water, acting like tiny batteries. Even this liquid crystalline network that could be responsible for communication throughout the entire body. This deep dive has completely changed my perspective on water. It's not just about staying hydrated anymore. It's about understanding how this incredible substance is shaping, well, every aspect of our being.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think this newfound understanding of water has some really profound implications for how we view ourselves and our health, and even our connection to the world around us.
Okay, so let's talk about those implications. If water is this dynamic, interconnected network that's, carrying information throughout our bodies, what does that mean for our overall well-being?
Well, for one thing, it challenges the traditional view of our bodies as just a collection of separate parts. It suggests that we are these incredibly integrated systems, where everything is interconnected and it's influencing everything else.
It's like our bodies are more like a symphony than a machine, with water acting as the conductor, coordinating all the different instruments.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. And if that's the case, then it means that taking care of our overall well-being requires this really holistic approach. It's not just about treating individual symptoms, it's about understanding how all of our physical, emotional, even environmental factors are impacting this delicate balance within us.
So what you're saying is our thoughts, emotions, the environment we're in, all of that could potentially be influencing the water in our bodies and therefore affecting our health.
There is growing evidence to support that idea. Remember how we talked about easy water having a negative charge?
Yeah.
It turns out that things like stress and negative emotions can actually decrease the amount of easy water in our bodies.
So basically, stress is greening our batteries. No
Exactly.
wonder we feel so depleted after a tough day.
Exactly. And on the flip side, things like positive emotions, meditation, and even just being in nature have been shown to increase easy water. This research is still in its early stages, but it is pointing towards this fascinating connection between our inner world and the state of the water within us.
It makes you realize how interconnected everything really is. If we want to be truly healthy, we need to pay attention not just to what we eat and drink, but also to our mental and emotional well-being and even the environments we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, I think that's a really key takeaway from this deep dive. It's about recognizing the profound role that water plays in our lives, not just as this physical substance, but as a medium for information, energy, and connection.
This has been such an incredible journey. I feel like I've learned so much about water, about its hidden depths. What's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive?
I hope it inspires them to look at water with a sense of awe and wonder, to see it not just as a simple molecule, but as a force that connects us to ourselves, to each other, and to the universe as a whole.
Beautifully said. To all our listeners out there, the next time you take a sip of water, just remember everything we've discussed today. It's not just a drink. It's a connection to this vast network of life and energy that's flowing through you, through everything around you. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of water.